Hello. My name is Callista, and welcome back to When the Night Comes. In the last episode, we had a very unexpected visitor arrive at our doorstep. A beaten and bloodied Aurora burst through the door, claiming that she needed our assistance. She's very clearly been attacked. Was it the creature? Was it something else? Hopefully, Camille and August can figure this out. Hunter Abeline, I think I may require your assistance. August sighs heavily beside me, relaxing their tense posture and stepping forward.
Miss Woodridge, did you really just storm your way through the tavern looking like that?
Mate, if she's just been attacked... who cares what she looks like? Aurora's stance is visibly off-kilter, her legs shaking as she slides her hand down the doorframe. She's covered in blood, but the only injuries I can see are a few scratches on her forearm. It's too much to be just her own from a quick once-over. Ooh. In that case, if she hasn't been attacked, then she must have attacked something. Oh dear. She blinks at them once, twice, then completely and utterly blanks them, turning to me. Like I said, I require some assistance. No, I don't like that smile. I don't like that smile, Aurora. You creep me out. No, thank you, madam. They offer me a grimace, and I see her beginning to falter in the corner of my eye. I rush to her side in time to catch her before she slumps to the ground. I don't trust this. Now that I know that that's probably not her blood, I'm like... I hate to put it like this, but I'm like, is she faking? Is she faking like, oh, I'm so injured, I'm so weak, the blood loss, but she just has some scratches on her arms. I'm like, scratches on your arms wouldn't cause enough blood loss to the point where you'd be very badly anemic. I don't trust this. I don't trust this at all. Who or what did this to you? I help her settle upon the bed, August and I standing side by side as we wait for her response. I encountered a little trouble on my evening walk. August scoffs at that, staring at their nails and ignoring her pointed glare. When you say trouble... A creature. The one that's been giving you hunters some actual work to do. Strange, because the first time I encountered it, it was far less hostile. I beg your pardon. In a split second, the atmosphere changes. Literally. August's fingers spark vivid violet. Their eyes alight as they loom over the wounded woman with a fierce gaze. Calm them down or watch. Ooh. I don't know here. I don't know. On one hand, I don't want August to beat the shit out of this woman. Physically or magically, I do not want them to harm her. I don't know if August would do that, though. Here's the thing, they're angry. People have died. People they care about have died. And so I worry that their anger might get the better of them. In any other circumstance, I don't think they do any actual harm. But right now, I'm like, ooh. they're emotional and they might not be thinking clearly. On the other, August is Camille's superior officer. Who are we to be pulling rank on them? And also, if I'm being brutally honest, I think that Camille is probably rather pissed at Aurora. This creature has been killing people, and like, okay, they're hunters. You don't like hunters, but they're still people. They have thoughts and feelings and presumably families, friends, loved ones that care about them. And like, okay, you don't agree with their job. Sure, fine, whatever, but they're people at the end of the day. If you knew where this creature was, you should have reported it to someone. Like, you shouldn't have just been like, oh, a murderous creature's in my garden. I guess I'll feed it some nuts or whatever. Like you shouldn't have just been like, oh, there's the thing that they want. I'ma just go back inside and pretend I never saw it. So, on one hand, I don't want this to resort to all-out violence, but then I'm also like, Camille's probably pissed herself, and August is her superior officer. Oh no! I don't know. Oh. I worry if we go with calm them down, then I would imagine that would be a rather odd thing to see. A new hunter being like, August, calm down. Like, I don't care that you're my commanding officer. Don't do it. Like, that would be quite odd. And so I'm kind of like, I don't want Aurora to have the upper hand. Because if she sees that, then there's a pretty good chance that she'll go, oh, you two are together. You two are in a relationship because you feel comfortable ordering about your commanding officer. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna watch. I'm gonna watch and see what happens. Oh, God, no! August is about to beat the shit out of a woman. You shouldn't be getting turned on, Camille. Camille, no. I'm not the one starting with the perviness. The game got there before me. This is not on me. To say I'm enamored with the way August lights up like this would be an understatement. There's something in the way the air feels when they use their magic. It's electric.
You mean to tell me that you've been liaising with the thing that's been killing my hunters? And you do it with a smile and a shrug.
I take a step closer to her, placing my arm upon... I completely misread that. However, I thought I hit watch. Did I accidentally hit intervene? I'm gonna go back just to make sure I hit the right thing. Yeah, watch. Don't calm them down, just watch. To say I'm enamored with the way August lights up like this would be an understatement. There's something in the way the air feels when they use their magic. It's electric.
You mean to tell me that you've been liaising with the thing that's been killing my hunters? And you do it with a smile and a shrug.
I take a step closer to her, placing my hand upon August's arm. Yeah, I'm guessing that wasn't a choice then. Watching also stopped them. That feels weird to me. That feels like a really stupid choice. Here's the thing, this is a visual novel. most things are going to lead to the same destination. It's just about, like, you know, there'll be a couple of lines difference based on what you say. Like, with a lot of the choices, it is primarily tone. So you have the gently tone and then the aggressive tone. And here's the thing, I'm fine with that. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. You know, it's a visual novel. It's not like an RPG that's like, oh, and this has over 50 endings and it's multiple choice and blah, blah, blah. No, it's a visual novel. The story has a conclusion. They've got to get you to that story. It's not like there's, you know, for anyone who's like, oh, but my hunter would have turned around and walked away and gone and done something else. And it's like, then why are you playing the game? If you wanted to go do something else, why are you playing the game? You kind of have to go along with it. So most of the choices just being a difference in tone, I'm fine with. However, that, basically, do you intervene or do you do nothing? And then doing nothing turns out you actually do intervene. I'm like, that didn't need to be a choice. That just felt like a choice being there for there being a choice. You know, it felt like it was there for the sake of it. Like, I don't know about that one. That just felt a little bit superfluous. Their magic carefully dissipates, fizzling out until it's nothing but sparks at their fingertips. Literally the thing I was trying to avoid. I'm guessing maybe in the other one, maybe the hunter would have said something. And it's like, oh, you were watching, you didn't verbally intervene, you just touched them. Like I said, this just feels like there being a choice for the sake of there being a choice. This really didn't need to be there. I think that's my one thing. Like, if it's a case of like, okay, what tone do you want to take? I'm like, the dialogue will be a little bit different. You know, you're kind of setting up how you think the hunter's personality is. Like, that's fine, but don't just have a choice there because you want to create the illusion of choice. Does that make sense? As they offer me a soft smile, Aurora scoffs loudly. You've got to be kidding me. So that's why you're all alone up here, That must be tricky for you and that precious moral code of yours, Willenheim. I should arrest you for being in contempt of the agency. You're lucky you came to us when you did. Aurora pouts and averts her gaze, as if doing so will minimize our presence. Lucky. I don't consider stooping to such a low level in coming to you as lucky. But I have no other choice. No, you don't. We shouldn't stay here. It's too dangerous having her in such a public place. Where do you suggest? With a heavy groan, August rolls their eyes.
I suppose my house would be the wisest. I am an enforcer after all. If we're going to be seen, then at least it will look like official business.
Nice. Good idea. We just walk her through the tavern, covered in blood?
How comfortable are you with being, theatrical?
I don't think Camille is at all comfortable being theatrical. Part of me's sad that got blacked over, but, like, I don't see Camille as a theatrical sort. I don't think she's particularly creative. I think she's the kind of person who, like, if she were on a stage, like, I think she's got quite a big personality, but, like, with a bunch of people watching her and stage lighting, she'd just kind of freeze and be like, yes, my lines. Like, that's kind of how I see her. So I think that was a very awkward distraction. After a successful exercise in distraction back in the Wolf, we rush Aurora across town to August's rather impressive abode without further incident. They stare at her with a crinkled nose as she removes her shoes at the door, apparently disgusted at the thought of having her covered in blood in their impeccably clean living area. Speaking of which, yeah, August's house is nice! I especially like the flowers, they're pretty.
Just don't get blood on the sofa. Please.
August's just like, I don't even want to think about the dry cleaning bill. Yeah, let's grab that. Noted. I take in my surroundings, and this home couldn't possibly be owned by anyone other than Augustus Willenheim. This is beautiful, August. Thank you. It's nice having my own little sanctuary, though I don't spend as much time here as I would like. I gravitate towards them, as I so often seem to these days, our fingers brushing as I take a seat beside them. Aurora clears her throat, her eyebrows climbing high as she stares at us from across the room. Are you quite finished? I'd like to go home if we can get this over with. I quickly withdraw my touch, placing my hands in my lap, but the urge to reach out and touch them lingers.
Explain exactly what you've been up to, Miss Woodridge. In detail.
She crosses her legs, smoothing the rumpled, dirtied fabric of her skirt. August watches, appreciative of her attempt to collect herself, but perceptive that none of her filth makes contact with their home. No more than it must, at least. Firstly, in the interest of protecting myself, I want you to assure me that what I say here won't be used against me. Well, that is fair. However, if you admit to any part in the murders, probably not. No. From what I gather, you're working against the enforcers, so I suppose you'd do well to agree to this condition? August looks at me for confirmation, and I shrug, knowing that she's right. We can't afford for her to go to them at this point, to go to anyone but us. It stays between us. Good. Now, I understand that you're aware that the level of creature activity has increased here in Lunaris as of late, Enforcer Willenheim? August nods. Yes, but Harry has done an excellent job in putting systems in place to ensure that we're on top of it. The number of fatalities has significantly dropped in the last year, if that's what you're getting at. Aurora hums, contemplating their statement with a tilt of her head. Lunaris has had the lowest mortality rate of any town in the whole of Escria until very recently. Did you know that? That is highly suspicious. To be fair, that entire statement is suspicious. Lunaris had the lowest mortality rate of any town in the whole of Escria. So either this place had such a strong military that no creature could do anything, or that could imply that there's something shady. And then the until very recently, at which point, mortality rates increased. That, like I said, that whole statement it's very interesting and also very concerning. They shift uncomfortably in their seat, avoiding eye contact with the both of us, so that's a yes then. She's playing a game, almost mocking August's obvious intelligence, I presume. Of course I was aware of that, yes. Don't you think that's awfully strange? That all of a sudden one of the most peaceful areas would turn into the epicenter of creature activity. That one day they began descending upon us in droves, stronger and faster than before? Did no one in your agency investigate a potential cause? I look at them again, assessing their reaction. My interest is considerably piqued. Lunaris was never on my radar before I was called here. I only knew of its existence because of Harry and James's notoriety, so I certainly didn't know this. Escria is made up of cities and towns far larger than Lunaris, so for Aurora to claim that this sleepy little place is the hotspot for creature activity is beyond alarming. August? With a deep breath, August responds.
I'm aware that there was an investigation, but that nothing was found. We chalked it up to the simple fact that we aren't doing a good enough job of eliminating the creatures as a country.
Here's my question. Who said that nothing was found? Because that could be a cover-up. Oh, it's an odd one. Because here's the thing, the enforcers will have run said investigation, but were the enforcers corrupt at that time? Is the corruption that we are discovering like a deep, twisted root firmly implanted in the company? Or is it something that's only newly formed? That's an interesting thought. That is a very interesting thought. If nothing was found, if we assume that this investigation was honest and truthful, that there was no corruption involved, and nothing was found, that would be highly alarming. A sleepy, peaceful little town suddenly becomes the epicenter for creature activity. There are more deaths than they have probably ever experienced in the past couple of years, all happening, pretty soon together. And I'm not talking about this set of murders. I'm talking about, like, vampires, lycans, demons, fairies, whatever, like, attacking people. Like, they know the cause, if you get what I'm saying. It's not some unnamed creature. It's like, oh shit, a vampire mauled someone in the street, blah, blah, blah. So, like, you have all of these murders, and they can't find anything. There is no answer in sight. There is no discernible cause. That would make the enforcers take risks. That would make Harry take risks. Because as I've said, he has to be involved. He's in charge of this town. There is no intricate power dynamics here. There is only Harry. Nothing can possibly go on here without him knowing about it and being involved in it. He is too powerful. He is too involved. And as I said, I think the creature, it's like a Frankenstein thing. It's clearly made. It is a made creation. It's not something that has been naturally birthed. Like, I think it's a mixture of Aya, Azazel, and probably someone else that hasn't been name-dropped yet. I think, basically, like, parts of them have been sewn together or whatever. Either sewn together, or they're being forced to consume shit. Because we know they've been taking blood from the creatures in the cells. Or at least, we know they were taking blood from the vampire Fiero, and I'm 99% sure they were taking blood from Alcar. So maybe they're being forced to drink the blood, and they're transforming into, like, these monsters. They're either being forced to drink blood, or they've been turned into, like, a Frankenstein construct. One of the two. Has to be either. And it's because they found nothing. There is no reason for this. They've just, these appearances have just happened. We need to combat that. How are we going to combat that? You combat monsters. You combat monsters with monsters. We're going to make something that'll be on our side to fucking kill these things. And so they start doing these, like, Frankenstein, experiments, whatever. However, Aya and Azazel, like, we're a Frankenstein monster now. This is shit. Clearly, here's the thing, it's the fact that, like, they were arrested. They were arrested and brought to the cells, so, like, clearly they didn't sign up for this. They had this forced upon them, and then they're like, you know what? Fuck you, we're gonna kill other hunters. Because you did this to us. Because you all got scared because you couldn't find an answer to this problem. That. If they found nothing, if they genuinely found nothing, that would scare them to doing something drastic. And I'm gonna put a pin in that. That right there. That is my theory for this. I am aware that there was an investigation, but nothing was found. We chalked it up to the simple fact that we aren't doing a good enough job of eliminating the creatures as a country.
That they are multiplying at a rate far quicker than we and everyone else can effectively handle.
That is an explanation. It's a rather mundane one, though. And here's the thing, sometimes mundane explanations are the right ones, but I don't necessarily trust that. Also, excuse me. Coughing fit. Excuse me. I'ma just take a quick sip. There we go, much better. Another quiet hum. I gather that she's simply testing them. Aurora knows a lot more than she's letting on, clearly, and it brings back a touch of her knowing resolve. So why, in the last year, has that magically gotten better? Until these recent murders began, Lunaris was relatively peaceful again, wouldn't you say? When was Aya arrested? I can't remember. I can't remember when Aya was arrested and when Alcar got into that altercation with Azazel. Because if that was a year ago... Okay, yeah, so here's what I think is going on. They do this study, nothing is found, they panic, they're like, shit, we've got to make our own monsters to combat these monsters. So they effectively kidnap Aya and Azazel, turn them into the creature, as I said, either by chopping them up, sewing them together and raising them from the dead, or by making them drink shit. One of the two. And then... for a year, it works. They're holding that leash. They have control over them. However, in the past month, they escape. They get loose. And they start stalking the forest. And they start hunting the hunters. Because you did this to me. And I'm gonna punish you for it. Fuck you. Things don't just get better. Stuff has to happen. Not as peaceful as before, but an improvement was seen, yes. I'm no wiser than you, really, Enforcer. But I do know that the thing committing these murders is no ordinary creature. And I know that the method in which your precious leader has used to fix the problem is an unsavory one. Yes. Yes, Frankenstein experiments are rather unsavory. But something isn't right here in Lunaris. Something is drawing them here, and whatever that thing is, it's making them stronger. Ooh. This is a very good question. How do you know all of this? This is the thing that's pressing on Camille's mind, front and center. This would be interesting to know, but this Aurora knows so much. And I think Camille wants to know how she knows that. I look at Aurora, taking note of her confidence and her poise. It's impressive, but I can't help but wonder how the hell she knows all of this. Information she just unloaded on us. You know an awful lot about the Enforcers. Even more than us, apparently. How? She shrugs, nonchalant. Not quite getting the gravity of the situation, I feel. People talk.
To the twins that alienate everyone by telling them they deserve to get gobbled up by monsters for daring to be afraid. Sounds unlikely.
Very unlikely. Believe it or not, there are people in this sad little town that are more afraid of the Enforcers and your hunter pets than they are of the monsters. They see you talking to the things that lurk in the catacombs, the vampires, the lichen, the demon. They may smile and seem friendly, but they are just as much of an untamed creature as the ones that lurk in the woods that you don't allow to drink in the tavern or sleep in your beds. And what happened last night? Tell us what happened last night. How did you find the creature? And before Aurora has a chance to answer, I am just about out of time for this episode. In the next one, hopefully Aurora can fill us in on some more details, but until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Kallista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.